This is Red Jeff and Howard Raw, Siren Buddha Medicine, and this is a continuation of the conversation about being yoked versus being unevenly yoked. And what does that mean? In church, they said that meant that you didn't have the same spiritual boundaries and morals or interpretation as your partner, and that was important for when you raised your children and you interacted with society. But what they didn't tell us was that a lot of those people were corrupt that were teaching us. When I looked at TV as a child and saw those priests and those nurses and doctors and those counselors and those policemen, they're always doing good deeds. They're always in the right. They're always where they were supposed to be. Unless there was some grubby, scummy, nasty thing in the path. And then it appeared that they always got what they deserved. But while I was watching those television shows, they never showed how the dirty, scummy, nasty person that these caregivers were supposed to help, why they had permission not to help that person. Never explained that. It just, you instinctively knew that if you were portrayed in a certain light, you didn't deserve help, that you would be ostracized by these people that you were taught to kind of honor, put on a pedestal within your mind. It builds these walls. So it never occurs to you that these people don't have the moral foundation that you would expect. And then, the only moral foundation that you're pretty much able to express is the one that you're taught in church. And hopefully your pastor or your priest gives good moral and sound advice. Because if not, that's your fuel, your spiritual fuel, your family's ammo to get them through the day. That's what is going to govern, give permission to the rest of interpretation and way life plays out. When these doctors and nurses and teachers and people with an authority tell us how to govern our lives, and they look so squeaky clean. When I was a child, I thought as a child. And when I grew up, I put my toys away, my foolish notions. But that was only after I got my butt whooped. It was only after I experienced life that I saw, wait a minute, this nurse is not trying to help me. I didn't do anything and I'm in a straitjacket. Wait a minute, this teacher is not trying to help me. They're actually obstructing me and not even listening to me. How is that teaching if you don't even know your student? Isn't this supposed to be an exchange? Why is there hierarchy everywhere? Same thing with the pastor. Why am I being kicked out of Sunday school for asking if Adam and Eve had only sons? Where did their sons procreate from if there were no other people? And where do these people come from mysteriously within this first book, within this book, speaking about how Adam and Eve had children and then their children had children? Where did the children come from? No answer, just kicked out of Sunday school. Hierarchy. Where's the safety in that? As you grow, a child's mind can snap, realizing there's no safe place to interpret anything and truth. As you're growing up and going through puberty and learning to interpret yourself and interact with society, which runs on Kundalini energy, sexual spiritual energy that's being tapped into and stolen by these false constructs that are being fed to us through the tunnel vision, the other media like, music and newspapers. So this is the backdrop of an individual, any of us, that go walking around through society. We think we have our eyes open. We're actually naked because we have no spiritual shields. We have no personal thought. No real inner guidance system or will. We're using someone else's perception. On wobbly legs, we walk in to greet each other. Unsure, untrusting, uncomfortable. Because that's what we're fed. Instinctively, we know. Whether it's through experience, personal experience, like the ones I described, of being kicked out of Sunday school, or not having questions answered, or hierarchies, because people have big egos and they don't even want to be challenged with a real question when they're just gatekeepers. They don't extend knowledge. They keep the knowledge that they were given and keep the format there, and that includes everything about our sexuality. And when you get shunned, and you see other people get shunned, it never occurs to you to keep questioning it. You might end up in a pile of the socially cast out. In a pile of people who are like transgender, who get ostracized, or the gay, lesbian community. I believe that some of these people may not even be gay or lesbian, or even know truly why they want to do what they're doing. Because I don't think the people teaching sexuality and health are truly healthy. Thinking about all the social programming. So oddly enough, we have ourselves programmed to go to people to teach us how to be good husbands and wives, who some of them don't even have husbands and wives. We have people teaching us how to be better families that don't have families. Some churches and pastors and stuff do have marriages and families, but a lot of them still don't. So that's a paradox right there. A man without a family, without a wife, telling another man or woman how to conduct their family life. You see how that worked. Good luck, Catholics. And so you end up with the school system that's trained or geared to program you The church geared and trained to program you, to teach you, to mentor you. You have your doctors that teach you. And they all teach you things that keep you thinking in a way that's going to continue to feed the perception of the system that's keeping corrupt people in charge within a social structure, in charge of our social structure. I mean, why is it taking this long for us to begin to talk about sex? Sexuality in a positive way, where it makes sense. It's because a lot of things are being deferred. That's why. Because it's profitable, much more profitable to keep us ignorant. And so, I'm grateful that we can begin to talk about it and observe our behaviors and stuff more. Open up some more dialogue in the future to do some talk therapy on this. Get to know each other better. This is how we grow as people. And this is Red Jeff and Howard Raw, Siren Buddha Medicine. Much love to you. Thanks for listening. I'm out.